Humanity slept for 20,000 years, until their ghost ship returned across the stars part. 5-6 months had passed since the truth was revealed. The combined human Thalon fleet had found 5 more Ark ships. Some had crews still alive in cryosleep. Others were graveyards, their systems failed centuries ago. But each ship provided pieces of the puzzle. Coordinates, codes, fragments of a map leading to the galactic core. Captain Hyundai stood on the bridge of the Eternal Horizon, now repaired and upgraded with Thalon technology. Around his ship traveled a fleet of 40 vessels, human and alien, working together toward a common goal. Dr. Yuna approached with a data pad. Her face was grim. "Captain, I've finished analyzing all the recovered data. The purge system is worse than we thought. It doesn't just destroy advanced civilizations. It records them, studies them, learns from them. Every 50,000 years it gets smarter. How do we stop something that's had millions of years to perfect itself?" Hyundai asked. "We don't know yet," Yuna admitted. "But Dr. Taeyeon thinks she might have found something. She wants to see you in the lab." Dr. Taeyeon was the fleet's chief geneticist. She had been working with the archive's biological samples, trying to understand why the ancient humans had preserved so much genetic material. In the lab, Taeyeon showed them microscope images. "Look at this. Human DNA has sequences that don't match Earth evolution. They're artificial."
Added deliberately. Added by who?
Hyundai asked. "By the first humans," Taeyeon said, "or by whoever came before them. Captain, I think the purge system doesn't just destroy civilizations. It shapes them. It prunes the galaxy like a garden, keeping species from growing too powerful. But it also leaves seeds, genetic markers that ensure new intelligence will eventually rise." "That's insane," Yuna said. "Is it?" Taeyeon challenged. "Think about it. If you wanted to control galactic evolution, you wouldn't just destroy, you would guide, shape. The purge system eliminates threats, but it also ensures the galaxy stays populated with intelligent life. Just not too intelligent." A message came through. Ambassador Krell requested an urgent meeting. When they gathered, his expression was troubled. "We have a problem," Krell said. "The Viral Dominion has launched a major offensive. They're attacking the systems where we found the Ark ships. They're trying to capture the technology before we can use it." "How many ships?" Hansel asked. He had been promoted to Joint Fleet Commander alongside Hyundai. 50 warships, Admiral Vexus reported. Led by Commander Civex, they're desperate. "Our intelligence suggests they know about the purge system. They think if they can control human technology, they can survive the next cycle." "They're wrong," Bora said. She had been released from custody and now served as an advisor. "The purge system can't be fought with weapons. It's too advanced. The only way to survive is to deactivate it, or reprogram it," Arya added. Her avatar appeared in the room. "I have been running simulations. If we can reach the central control hub and access its core programming, we might be able to change its parameters. Stop the killing. How do we get to the galactic core?" Minho asked. "No one has ever returned from there. Because no one had human FTL technology," Jiwan said. She had been working on a solution. "The Eternal Horizon's time displacement drive is damaged beyond repair. But I've studied the principles. If we combine it with Thalon propulsion and the power cores from 3 of the Ark ships, we could build a one-time jump drive. 1 ship straight to the galactic core. One-way trip," Hyundai said. "Yes," Jiwan confirmed. "The energy requirements would drain everything." "No way back, then I'll go," Hyundai said immediately. "Not alone," Hansel added. "My ship, my crew. We volunteer." "As do we," Krell said. "The Thalons have lived in fear long enough. If there's a chance to end this threat, we must take it." Over the next month, they built the impossible. A hybrid ship combining human and Thalon technology. They called it the Eternal Dawn. It could carry 500 people. Volunteers from every species. Scientists, engineers, soldiers. The best and bravest. But the Viral wouldn't let them go peacefully. Commander Civex launched a desperate assault on the fleet. He had nothing to lose. If he couldn't have the technology, no one would. The battle was brutal. The Viral threw everything at them. Minho led the defense from his fighter, his squadron protecting the Eternal Dawn as it prepared to launch. Enemy fire tore through his shields. "His ship took critical damage, Captain," Minho said over the radio. His voice was calm despite the alarms in his cockpit. "It's been an honor. Tell them we didn't quit." His ship exploded, taking 3 virile fighters with it. The sacrifice bought them time. Launch, Hyundai ordered. The Eternal Dawn's massive hybrid drive ignited. Space tore open. The ship vanished, carrying its 500 volunteers into the unknown. The journey was like nothing they had experienced. The galactic core was a maelstrom of stars, black holes, and radiation. Normal ships would have been torn apart instantly, but the Eternal Dawn pushed through, its shield straining. Dr. Yuna monitored sensors. "I'm detecting a structure, artificial. It's massive. Captain, it's the size of a small moon." The Purge system's central hub appeared before them. It was beautiful and terrible. A sphere of dark metal covered in symbols that hurt to look at. Technology so advanced it seemed like magic. "How do we get in?" Hansel asked. "We ask," Bora said. She had been quiet during the journey, preparing for this moment. "I'm one of the first humans. My genetic markers are coded into the system. It should recognize me." She transmitted a sequence. Ancient codes from before recorded history. The sphere responded. A doorway opened, they entered carefully. Inside was a central chamber lit by ethereal light. In the center floated a control interface. Behind it, holographic displays showed thousands of stars, each one marked, catalogued, judged. Dr. Yuna approached the interface. Her fingers trembled as she accessed the data. "It's all here. Every purge for the last 10 million years. Hundreds of civilizations destroyed, all to maintain balance, to prevent any species from becoming too powerful. Can you shut it down?" Hyundai asked. "Yes," Yuna said. But she hesitated. "But Captain, there's something else." A warning. The civilization that built this, they didn't create it to be cruel. They created it to protect the galaxy from something worse, something that exists beyond our space, something that feeds on advanced technology. On the display, information appeared. An entity from another dimension. It had consumed entire galaxies. The Purge system was designed to keep civilizations below the threshold that would attract its attention. "So our choice is genocide every 50,000 years or something worse?" Hansel said. "No," Bora said. "There's a third option. We reprogram the system. Instead of destroying advanced civilizations, we could make it hide them. Shield them. Create a barrier that keeps that entity away, while allowing species to grow and thrive." "Will that work?" Krell asked. "I don't know," Bora admitted. "But it's better than mass murder." Yuna worked at the interface. Hours passed. The rest of the crew kept watch, knowing the Viral might have followed them, that the entity might be watching even now. Finally, Yuna stepped back. "It's done. The purge is reprogrammed. Next activation will create a dimensional barrier instead of destroying civilizations. But there's a cost. The energy required will drain the central hub. It will only work once. After that, the system will be powerless. The galaxy will be on its own. Then we better make it count," Hyundai said. "Activate it." Yuna pressed the final command. The sphere began to glow. Energy poured out, spreading across the galaxy at faster than light speeds. Every star, every planet, every civilization was enveloped in a protective barrier. The entity beyond would find nothing to feed on, but the Eternal Dawn systems were failing. The hybrid drive had been pushed too hard. Explosions rocked the ship. "Evacuate," Hyundai ordered. "Get to the escape pods." "They won't work in the galactic core," Jiwon said. Her console showed the truth. "The radiation, the gravity wells. We'll never make it out." Hyundai looked at his crew. At Yuna, who had solved the impossible. At Hansel, who had become a true friend. At Bora, who had carried her burden for 20,000 years. At Krell and the Thalen volunteers who had risked everything for a species not their own. "Then we send a message," Hyundai said. "We tell them what we did. We tell them they have 50,000 years to prepare, to unite, to become something better." He recorded a final transmission. Simple words. Powerful words. "We were the ghosts of our own past. Now we are the guardians of your future. Humanity slept for 20,000 years, and we woke up to find ourselves extinct. But we didn't give up. We didn't quit. We gave you time. Use it wisely. Build a galaxy worth saving. Because the next threat won't wait 50,000 years. It might come tomorrow, or it might never come, but you'll face it together, or not at all." The message transmitted across the galaxy. Every ship, every station, every civilization received it. The Eternal Dawn exploded in the heart of the galactic core. 500 volunteers, human and alien, became light and energy. Their sacrifice ensured the galaxy would survive. 200 years later, on a world humans called New Earth, children played under twin suns. They were descendants of the Ark ships that had survived. 50,000 humans living in peace with a dozen alien species. Humanity slept for 20,000 years, until their ghost ship returned across the stars part. For the damaged Eternal Horizon limped through space, connected to the new dawn by docking tubes. Combined crews worked together to repair both ships. But tension hung in the air like smoke. Someone had betrayed them. Someone had blocked Arya's warnings and possibly led the Vral to their location. Captain Hyundai met with Hansel and his senior officers in a secure room on the New Dawn. Engineer Jiwon was there, along with Dr. Yuna and Minho. From the New Dawn came Arya's holographic avatar and several officers, including their chief of security. "I've analyzed our communication logs," Jiwon said. Her voice was tired. She had been working for 30 hours straight. The block on Arya's transmissions was sophisticated. It required access to our core systems. That limits suspects to about 20 people on our ship with the right clearances. 20 is too many, Hansel said. "We need to narrow it down." Arya's avatar flickered. "I may be able to help. I have been analyzing the Viral attack patterns. They knew our exact location and the specific frequency of our power signatures. This information could only come from someone with detailed knowledge of both ships." "That doesn't narrow it down," Minho pointed out. "Anyone with access to the archive would have that information." Yuna had been quiet, studying something on her datapad. She looked up suddenly. Unless it wasn't about the attack at all. What if the traitor wanted to delay our reunion? Keep the ships separated? Why? Hyundai asked. "Because together we're stronger," Yuna said. "And maybe someone doesn't want us to be strong. Or maybe they don't want us to share information." Before anyone could respond, an explosion rocked the New Dawn. Alarms shrieked. Security teams rushed through the corridors. Smoke filled the air. Minho's radio crackled. "Security breach in medical bay. Someone tried to destroy the genetic archive storage. They ran. When they reached the medical bay, they found fire-suppressant foam everywhere. A figure in a pressure suit lay unconscious on the floor, stunned by security." Minho removed the helmet. It was Counselor Bora, Hyundai's second-in-command. Hyundai felt like he had been punched. "Bora, why?" She woke up slowly, eyes focusing. When she saw them all staring, she didn't look ashamed. She looked relieved. "Finally," she said. "I've been carrying the secret for too long." They took her to the brig. She sat calmly while Hyundai demanded answers. "I blocked Arya's transmissions," Bora admitted. "I delayed our meeting with the New Dawn. And yes, I sent encrypted signals that the Viral could track. But not to hurt us. To protect us and protect us?" Hansel's voice was ice. "You led our enemies to us." "I led them to us before we found the truth," Bora said. She looked at Hyundai. "Captain, do you know what protocol resurrection really is? Do you know what's in the deepest parts of the archive?" "Tell us," Hyundai ordered. Bora took a breath. "I'm not from your time. I'm from before. From the first humanity, the one that destroyed itself. They preserved me in special cryo, along with 50 others like me. We were embedded in the Ark ships as observers, safeguards. Because the people who sent these ships into space knew something terrible. They knew it wasn't just war or climate change that killed Earth. It was something from outside." The room went silent. 18,000 years before you launched the Eternal Horizon," Bora continued, "humanity detected a signal, a pattern in space that repeated every 50,000 years. It was a warning. An ancient civilization, millions of years dead, left behind a defense system, a purge mechanism. Every 50,000 years it activates and destroys any species that has grown too advanced." Yuna's face went white. "That's impossible. The first humanity thought so too," Bora said. "Until they dug into Earth's geology and found evidence of previous civilizations. Ruins beneath ruins. Species that rose to intelligence and then vanished without a trace, all at 50,000-year intervals. So Earth's government sent the Ark ships away," Hyundai said slowly. "Not to preserve us from ourselves, but from something worse." "Exactly," Bora replied. "The time displacement wasn't a malfunction. It was the plan. Send humanity forward, past the next purge cycle, let the defense system activate, destroy whatever triggered it, and then humanity could return and rebuild." "But Earth got destroyed anyway," Hansel said. "Because we were idiots," Bora said bitterly. "The first humanity. We fought over the Ark ships, over who got to survive. We destroyed each other before the purge could even arrive. The second humanity, your people, rose from our ashes. But the purge system is still out there. Still active, and it's coming again. When? Hyundai demanded. 200 years, Bora said. Give or take a decade. The cycle is almost complete. Aria's avatar appeared. This explains anomalies I detected in galactic historical records. Advanced civilizations that vanished suddenly. Technology levels that reset periodically. If what she says is true, every species in this galaxy is living on borrowed time. Why didn't you just tell us? Yuna asked Bora. Why the sabotage? Because I didn't know if you would believe me, Bora said. And I needed you to find the other ships first. There are pieces of the solution scattered across the Ark fleet. Blueprints, codes, locations. No single ship has everything. The first humanity planned it that way so no one ship could be captured or destroyed. Solution to what? Hansel asked. To stopping the purge, Bora replied. The ancient civilization that created the defense system left a central control hub. It's located in the galactic core. If we can reach it, if we can deactivate or reprogram it, we can save everyone. Not just humanity. Every species in the galaxy. Hyundai wanted to call her crazy, but the pieces fit too well. The advanced technology that Earth shouldn't have had. The scattered Ark ships. The timing of everything. You could have told me, he said quietly. Would you have believed me? Bora challenged. Would you have abandoned searching for Earth survivors to chase an ancient legend? Or would you have tried to integrate with the Thalons, become part of their collective, and lost your independence? She had a point. Hyundai hated that she had a point. An alarm interrupted them. Not combat, worse. The long-range sensors had detected something. They rushed to the bridge. The main screen showed a massive spatial distortion. Ships were emerging from FTL. Dozens of them. Thalon Collective Fleet, the sensor officer reported, led by Ambassador Krell. They're hailing us. Krell's face appeared on screen. Behind him stood Admiral Vexus and researcher Yunbi. Krell looked concerned. Captain Hyundai, Captain Hansel, Krell said. We tracked your jump signatures. We know about the Vrul attack. Are you harmed? We're fine, Hyundai said carefully. What do you want? To help, Krell replied. And to ask for yours. We've been analyzing the battle data from your fight with the Vrul. Your temporal weapon. Captain, we need to understand how it works. Because we've detected something. A signal. Ancient, repeating every 50,000 years. Hyundai and Hansel looked at each other. The Thalons knew, or were starting to figure it out. We need to talk, Hyundai said. All of us. Because what I'm about to tell you will change everything you think you know about this galaxy. In the conference room they gathered, humans and Thalons. Bora told her story again. The purge system. The 50,000-year cycle. The last 200 years until it activated again. Yunbi listened with growing horror. This explained so much. The gaps in archaeological records. The sudden extinctions. We thought it was natural evolution. Competition, but it was murder. Automated murder on a galactic scale. Can it be stopped? Admiral Vexus asked. Maybe, Bora said. But we need to find more of the Ark ships. We need all the pieces, and then we need to mount an expedition to the galactic core, a place no one has ever returned from. How many ships are left? Krell asked. 11 more, Jiwan answered, according to the archive coordinates. Then we find them, Hansel said. All of them. We unite humanity and we stop this thing. For everyone. Krell extended one of his 6 limbs in what might have been a gesture of alliance. The Thalon Collective will help. We will commit our resources. Because if what you say is true, we're all facing extinction together. Hyundai looked around the room. Humans and aliens, former enemies and uncertain allies, all united by a threat none of them had known existed. Then we have work to do, he said. We have 200 years to save the galaxy. Let's not waste them. But in the shadows, watching through security feeds, other eyes observed. The Vrul Dominion had spies everywhere. And now they knew the truth too. The race had begun. Humanity slept for 20,000 years, until their ghost ship returned. Across the stars' part, 3 the eternal horizon traveled through the darkness between stars. Captain Hyundai stood on the bridge watching the navigation display. The first coordinates from the archive pointed to a dead star system, 3 weeks away at maximum speed. 3 weeks to wonder if they would find friends or corpses. Dr. Yuna worked at the science station, analyzing data they had recovered before fleeing the Thalan capital. She looked up suddenly. Captain, I've been reviewing the interrogation logs from that virile infiltrator. He said something strange. He called us the sleeping ones, and mentioned that his people had been searching for human ships for 2,000 years. 2,000 years? Hyundai frowned. How would they even know to look? That's what bothers me, Yuna said. Someone told them. Someone knew about the Ark ships long before we woke up. Engineer Jiwon approached, limping slightly from her injury. Captain, we need to talk about the archive. I've been digging deeper. There's another layer of encrypted data. It's not just genetic codes and cultural information. There are weapons blueprints, battle strategies, something called Protocol Resurrection. Show me, Hyundai ordered. They gathered in the conference room. Jiwon displayed files that made Hyundai's blood run cold. Protocol Resurrection was a military plan. If humanity ever faced extinction, the Ark ships would scatter across the galaxy. They would hide, wait, and return when the threat had passed. But the protocol assumed the threat was human. Civil war, nuclear annihilation, internal collapse. This was created before we launched, Jiwon explained. Earth's government knew they were dying. They sent us away not to colonize new worlds, but to preserve the species. We were never meant to wake up in 500 years. We were meant to sleep until humanity had time to evolve past its self-destructive nature. Yuna's hand shook. So the sabotage was intentional. Someone in command sent us forward 20,000 years on purpose. They thought by then whatever killed Earth would be over. But what killed Earth? Minho asked. He had been listening quietly. Nuclear war happened before we left. We rebuilt. So what was the threat? Maybe we'll find answers with the other ships, Hyundai said. Or maybe we won't like what we find. 2 weeks later, they reached the dead star system. It was a graveyard. Planets cracked and frozen. Asteroids drifting in broken orbits. And there, in orbit around a collapsed star, was the New Dawn, the second Ark ship. It looked perfect. No damage, no degradation. As if it had launched yesterday. Life signs? Hyundai asked. Detecting power signatures, the sensor officer reported. Minimal but present. The ship is dormant but functional. Take us in. Prepare boarding teams. They approached slowly. The New Dawn was larger than the Eternal Horizon, built to carry 30,000 people. As they drew close, the other ship's lights flickered on. Someone or something had detected them. Receiving a transmission, communications reported. Audio only. It's automated, a voice filled the bridge. Female comm, artificial. This is Area, artificial intelligence of the New Dawn. Identify yourselves. This is Captain Hyundai of the Eternal Horizon. We're human. We're here to help. Silence for several heartbeats. Then Arya spoke again, but this time with something like emotion. Human. Confirmed through bioscans. Captain, my crew has been in cryosleep for 18,412 years. I have kept them asleep beyond the programmed wake cycle. You are the first humans I have encountered since launch. Why did you keep them asleep? Yuna asked. Protection, Arya replied. 37 years after arrival, I detected hostile alien vessels entering the system. They scanned for life signs. I powered down all non-essential systems and kept the crew in cryo to hide them. The aliens left. I have been waiting for safe conditions to wake my crew. Your arrival changes the threat assessment. Stand by. Wait, Hyundai said. Don't wake them yet. We need to explain the situation first. Negative, Arya said. Situation parameters have changed. Human contact established. Wake protocol engaging. My captain will want to speak with you. Over the next hour, the New Dawn came alive. Light spread across its hull. Power systems activated. And in the cryo bays, 30,000 people began to wake. Hyundai sent a boarding team led by Minho. They were welcomed by the New Dawn's awakening crew. But the welcome was cold, suspicious. The New Dawn's captain was named Hansel. He was younger than Hyundai expected, maybe 30 when he went to sleep. He met them in the New Dawn's conference room with hard eyes and crossed arms. You're from the Eternal Horizon, Hansel said. Not a question. Arya told me. She also told me you've been in contact with aliens, that you've brought them to us. The Thalen Collective helped us, Hyundai explained. When we woke up, Earth was gone. They provided supplies, information. And what did you give them in return? Hansel demanded. Nothing they didn't already have, Hyundai replied. Limited access to non-weapon systems. That's all, Hansel laughed bitterly. You trusted aliens. You led them here. Do you know what Arya has been doing while we slept? She's been monitoring galactic communications, listening, learning. The Thalen Collective isn't what they appear to be. They're expansionist. They conquer through culture and technology, not weapons. They absorb species into their collective until nothing of the original remains. That's not what we've seen, Yuna protested. Because you've only been awake for a month, Hansel shot back. Arya has been watching for 18,000 years. She knows things you don't. Arya's voice came through the room's speakers. I have compiled evidence. The Thalon Collective has absorbed 47 species in the past 10,000 years. Only 3 maintain independent governments. Cultural assimilation is their primary weapon. Hyundai felt doubt creeping in. Why didn't you tell us this before? You didn't ask, Arya said simply. And you left Thalon space before I could contact you. Wait, Minho interrupted. You contacted us how? I have been transmitting on human frequencies since detecting your emergence 3 weeks ago. Did you not receive my warnings? A chill ran down Hyundai's spine. No, our communication showed nothing. Hansel and Hyundai looked at each other. Someone had blocked Arya's transmissions, someone on the eternal horizon, or someone with access to their systems. Before they could investigate, alarm screamed. Both ships, simultaneously. Multiple vessels dropping out of FTL, the tactical officer shouted. 15 ships. Vril Dominion signatures. They found us. On the main screen, the Vril fleet appeared. Massive warships bristling with weapons. They had tracked the eternal horizon somehow. And now they had found 2 human ships instead of 1. The Vril commander's face appeared on screen. It was Commander Syvex, scales scarred from battle. Human vessels, surrender your biological archives. Cooperate and you will be allowed to join the Dominion. Resist and you will be destroyed. Hyundai looked at Hansel. Can your ship fight? Arya? Hansel asked, weapon systems operational. But Captain, we are outgunned 3-1. Probability of survival is 12%. Then we run, Hyundai decided. No, Hansel said. His voice was steel. We've been running for 20,000 years. I'm done running, he turned to his crew. Battle stations. Show these reptiles why humanity conquered Earth before the aliens ever found it. The battle began. The Eternal Horizon and New Dawn moved together, coordinating their fire. Human weapons were superior, but the Vril had numbers. Energy beams crossed the darkness. Ships exploded. The void filled with debris. Pilot Jiho, the Eternal Horizon's best pilot, made a desperate move. He remembered the sabotaged FTL drive, the time displacement technology. If they could weaponize it, Captain, Jiho called. I have an idea. It's insane, but it might work. Do it, Hyundai ordered. Jiho activated the damaged time drive, not for jumping, but for creating a localized temporal rift. Space tore open like a wound. 7 Vril ships got caught in the edge. They stretched, distorted, and vanished, sent thousands of years into the future. But the cost was high. The Eternal Horizon's core drive overloaded. Explosions ripped through engineering. G1 screamed orders trying to contain the damage. The remaining Vril ships retreated. They had faced something they couldn't understand. Human technology was not just advanced. It was terrifying. In the aftermath, Hyundai stood on his damaged bridge and contacted Hansel. We need to work together. Pool our resources. Our knowledge. Hansel nodded slowly. Agreed. But first we find out who blocked Arya's transmissions. Someone on your ship is a traitor, and we need to know why. Hyundai looked at his crew, at the faces he trusted. Somewhere among them was someone who didn't want the human ships to unite. The question was why. And what else had they done? Humanity slept for 20,000 years, until their ghost ship returned. Across the stars part. 3 weeks had passed since the Eternal Horizon returned to a galaxy that had forgotten them. Captain Hyundai sat in his ready room, studying reports that made his head hurt. The Thalon Collective had been generous. Too generous. Food, medical care, fuel, even entertainment for the crew. But generosity always had a price. Dr. Yuna knocked and entered without waiting. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. I found something. You need to see this now. She threw a data chip on his desk. I've been comparing our historical databases with what the Thalons recovered from Earth. Captain, it's not just the timeline that's wrong. It's everything. The ruins they found show a civilization that destroyed itself in nuclear war around the year 2000, but we left Earth in the year 2200. After the wars, after the rebuilding, Hyundai felt cold. So either we're wrong about when we left or they're wrong about what they found. Or there were two humanities, Yuna said. The first one died in fire. The second one, us, rose from the ashes and reached for the stars. But we jumped forward in time, so we outlived even our own legacy. We're ghosts of a ghost civilization. A message came through his console. Ambassador Krell requested a meeting. Urgent. Hyundai told Yuna to come with him. They met in a conference room that the Thalons had set up. Krell was there with several other aliens. One was a Thalon military officer with scars across his carapace. Another was Yunbi, the xenoarchaeologist who had been working with Yuna. Captain, Krell said, we need to discuss a difficult topic. Your ship's technology. What about it? Hyundai asked carefully. The military officer spoke. His name was Admiral Vexus. Your ship defeated a pirate raid 2 days ago. 3 raiders attacked a supply convoy. Your vessel Eternal Horizon destroyed them in 47 seconds, with minimal power usage. Captain, your weapons technology is 500 years more advanced than anything we possess. We defended ourselves, Hyundai said. The pirates fired first. We're not accusing you, Krell said quickly. We're concerned. The Thalon Collective maintains peace through balanced power. If one species possesses superior military technology, it destabilizes everything. We need to understand your capabilities for everyone's safety. You want us to share our technology, Hyundai said flatly. We want transparency, Vexus replied. Your ship could revolutionize warfare, or it could end it. We need to know which, Hyundai stood. My people have been awake for 3 weeks. We learned we're the last humans alive, that Earth is dust, that we're 20,000 years out of time. And now you want us to hand over the only thing that keeps us safe? No, Captain, please, Yunbi spoke up. I understand your position, but consider ours. We found your species' remains and mourned them. We built museums to preserve your memory, and now you return with technology that could conquer the galaxy. Can you blame us for being afraid? Yuna touched Hyundai's arm. She has a point, Hyundai wanted to argue. But he looked at these aliens and saw genuine fear. They weren't threatening. They were scared. Of him, of his people, of what humanity represented. We'll consider a joint research program, he said finally. Limited access to non-weapon systems, but our military technology stays ours. That's not negotiable. Vexus nodded slowly. That's acceptable. For now. The meeting ended. As they walked back to the Eternal Horizon, Minho, the security officer, approached quickly. Captain, we have a situation. Engineer Jiwan found something in the ship's core systems. They rushed to engineering. Jiwan stood before a holographic display showing the ship's internal structure. She pointed to a section deep in the engine core. There's a data vault here that's not on any of the ship's blueprints, she said. It's been hidden behind false bulkheads and encryption that would take centuries to crack normally. But I found a back door. Someone wanted it to be found eventually, but only by us. Can you open it? Hyundai asked. Already did. Jiwan pressed a control. The display changed. Captain, it's called the Archive. It contains complete genetic samples for 10,000 Earth species. Cultural databases, art, music, literature, science, everything. It's a backup of our entire civilization. Yuna stepped closer, her eyes wide. This is incredible. We could rebuild. Not just humanity, but Earth itself. There's more, Jiwan said. Her voice dropped. There are coordinates. 12 sets. Locations scattered across the galaxy. Other ships, Hyundai breathed. The Eternal Horizon wasn't alone. Exactly. 12 other ARC ships launched in secret. Different routes, different technologies. We were the 13th. The failsafe that was meant to wake up in the future when it was safe. Safe from what? Minho asked. Jiwan pulled up another file. I don't know. The logs are encrypted beyond what I can crack. But whoever set this up, whoever sabotaged our drive to send us forward in time, they knew something. They were running from something. Before anyone could respond, alarms shrieked. The ship's AI announced intruders. Multiple breaches across 3 decks. Hyundai slammed the emergency channel. All security teams, respond. Seal off engineering. They moved fast. Minho led the way with his weapon drawn. Through the corridors, they saw them. Aliens, but not Thalons. These were reptilian, covered in dark scales, moving with deadly purpose. Vral Dominion, Minho said. I studied the database. They're an empire that the Thalons are barely keeping at peace with. One of the Vral turned and fired an energy weapon. Minho returned fire. The corridor erupted in flashing lights and heat. They're going for engineering, Jiwan shouted. They know about the archive. Hyundai realized the truth instantly. Someone leaked the information. Someone told the Vral what we found. They fought their way back to engineering. The Vral were fast and trained, but human weapons were better. Much better. Migno and his team cut through the attackers, but an engineering disaster. A Vral infiltrator stood at the main console downloading data. The archive's information flowed into a portable device. Stop, Hyundai shouted. The Viral looked at him with cold reptilian eyes. Too late, human. My empire will use your genetic material. We will clone your species. Control them. Train them. With human biology and Vral discipline, we will conquer everything. Jiwan lunged for the console. The Vral fired at her. She dodged, but the blast hit the console, causing an explosion. The Viral fell, wounded. The download stopped at 47%. Minho secured the Viral. Hyundai checked the console. Half of the archive's biological database had been copied. Genetic codes for humans, animals, plants. Enough to start a cloning program. We need to leave, Yuna said. Now, before more come. No, Hyundai said. His voice was hard. We find the other ships first. If the Vral have our DNA, we need allies. We need to find the rest of humanity. He looked at his crew. At Jiwan, wounded but alive. At Minho, still holding his weapon steady. At Yuna, fear and determination in her eyes. The Thalons want to study us. The Vral want to clone us. Everyone thinks we're ghosts, relics, museum pieces. Time to remind this galaxy what humanity actually is. We're survivors, and we don't quit. He activated the ship-wide intercom. All crew, battle stations. We're going hunting. There are 12 other human ships out there. We're going to find at least one. And then we're going to show the Viral Dominion why you don't mess with humanity. In orbit around the Thalon capital, the Eternal Horizon's engines flared to life. The ship turned and accelerated toward the first coordinates from the archive. Ambassador Krell watched from his ship. They're leaving? Where are they going? Umbi checked her scanners. Into deep space. Captain, they're moving faster than our ships can track. Whatever their drive system is, it's beyond anything we've ever seen. Krell made a decision. Follow them. Alert the fleet. We need to know what else is out there. And we need to make sure the Viral don't get there first. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology. It was their refusal to stay dead. Humanity slept for 20,000 years until their ghost ship returned across the star's part. The darkness broke like shattered glass. Captain Hyundai opened his eyes and immediately knew something was wrong. The cryopod's display showed numbers that made no sense. 500 years had been the plan. The screen showed 20,073. His heart hammered in his chest as the pod hissed open. Cold air rushed into his lungs. Around him, other pods were opening too. 50,000 humans all waking up together. The ship's automated systems had triggered the emergency revival protocol. Hyundai pulled himself out of the pod. His muscles ached from the long sleep. He grabbed the nearby railing and looked around the massive cryo bay. People were emerging from their pods, confused and scared. Some were crying. Others just stared at nothing. Captain, a woman's voice cut through the noise. Dr. Yuna rushed toward him, her face pale. She held a data tablet in shaking hands. The readings are impossible. We need to get to the bridge now. They moved through the corridors of the Eternal Horizon. The ship looked exactly as it had when they went to sleep. Clean white walls, soft blue lights, everything working perfectly. But outside the windows, the stars were wrong. Completely wrong, the bridge was chaos. Officers shouted reports at each other. Screens flashed warnings. Engineer Jiwan stood at the main console, her fingers dancing across the controls. She looked up when Hyundai entered. Captain, the navigation system is having a breakdown, Jiwan said. Her voice was steady, but her eyes showed fear. None of the star charts match. The stellar drift calculations suggest we've been moving for 20,000 years, not 500. Hyundai felt the world tilt. That's impossible. Check the systems again. I've checked 3 times, Jiwan replied. The ship is fine. Perfect, actually. But we're not where we should be. And we're not when we should be. Dr. Yuna pulled up a holographic display. It showed Earth's solar system, or what should have been Earth's solar system. I accessed the long-range sensors. Captain, Earth is gone. The sun expanded into a red giant. The inner planets are just dust now. Silence fell across the bridge. Someone sobbed. Another officer sat down hard in their chair. Hyundai gripped the command console until his knuckles turned white. How long ago? He asked quietly. 18,000 years, Yuna whispered. Give or take a century. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared. The tactical officer shouted, multiple ships approaching, unknown design, massive energy signatures. The main screen showed 3 alien vessels. They were beautiful and terrible, shaped like crystals that bent light around them. Each one was twice the size of the eternal horizon. Receiving a transmission, the communications officer said, it's using our language. Old Earth English. Put it through, Hyundai ordered. A voice filled the bridge. It sounded like wind chimes and felt wrong in the air. Human vessel Eternal Horizon. This is Ambassador Krell of the Thalon Collective. We welcome you to the year 42,847. Please do not be alarmed. We mean you no harm. The screen changed. An alien appeared. It had 6 limbs, an insectoid body covered in iridescent plates, and too many eyes. But its voice was gentle, almost kind. We know who you are, Krell continued. We have studied your species for 10,000 years. We never expected to meet living humans. Your civilization has been extinct for 20 millennia. Hyundai found his voice. Extinct? What happened to Earth? Krell's expression was hard to read on an alien face, but something like sadness showed. Your world died long before the sun consumed it. War, climate collapse, resource depletion? We found the ruins. We have preserved what we could in museums. You are walking ghosts, Captain. Legends made flesh. There must be other humans, Yuna said. Other colonies? Other ships? None that survived, Krell replied. The Eternal Horizon is unique. Your technology should not exist. According to our records, humanity never achieved faster than light travel. Yet your ship operates on principles we barely understand. How is this possible? Hyundai looked at Ji-Wan. She shook her head slightly. They had secrets. Technology that was experimental. Things that other nations on Earth hadn't known about. But should they share that with aliens? We'd like to board your ship, Krell said. With your permission. We have medical teams ready. Food, supplies, whatever you need. You must have questions. We have some answers. And if we refuse? Hyundai asked. Then you refuse, Krell said simply. We will not force you. But Captain, you are alone in a galaxy you do not know. We offer friendship. We offer help. What do you offer in return? Hyundai thought fast. 50,000 people depending on him. A ship that was impossibly advanced, but also impossibly outnumbered. A galaxy full of aliens who had spent millennia studying dead humans like museum pieces. We accept your help, he said finally. But my security team stays armed. And certain sections of the ship remain off limits. Agreed, Krell said. We will begin docking procedures. As the communication ended, a young security officer named Minho approached. Captain, are we sure we can trust them? They could be lying about everything. They could be, Hyundai admitted. But right now we need information more than we need paranoia. Stay alert. Watch everything they do. Report anything suspicious. Over the next hours, Thalon teams came aboard. They brought food synthesizers, medical equipment, and data archives. They were polite, almost reverent. They treated the humans like precious relics. Dr. Yuna spent time with a Thalon xenoarchaeologist named Yunbi. They compared historical records. What Yunbi showed her made no sense. The timeline was wrong. The technology levels didn't match. Captain, Yuna said later, pulling him aside. Something is very wrong here. The ruins they found on Earth predate our launch by 2,000 years. But we know what Earth was like when we left. These records show a civilization that fell before we even built this ship. What are you saying? Hyundai asked. I'm saying there were 2 humanities, Yuna replied. Or the Thalons are lying. Or something happened to time itself. I don't know which possibility scares me more. Before they could discuss further, alarms sounded again. Ji-Wan's voice came over the intercom. Captain to engineering, now, we have a big problem. Hyundai ran. When he reached engineering, Ji-Wan showed him data logs from the FTL drive. Someone sabotaged it. Before we launched, it was meant to malfunction. We were supposed to end up here in this time. Who? Hyundai demanded. Who would do that? I don't know yet, Ji-Wan said. But whoever did it knew exactly what they were doing. This wasn't an accident, Captain. We were sent to the future on purpose. Hyundai looked out the window at the alien ships surrounding them, at the stars that didn't belong in the sky, at the impossible future they'd woken up in. Find out why, he said. Whatever it takes, find out why someone wanted us here.